want to say thank you to everybody for your support of Aggie football and Utah State athletics. We're certainly excited to see a glimpse into the future of Aggie football tonight. And with that, we'll kick off tonight's festivities. And please join me in welcoming our Vice President and Director of Athletics, John Hartwell.
Thanks, Jeremy, and thank you all for coming out tonight. I see a lot of familiar faces tonight. I know some folks drove a pretty good distance to be here, and we appreciate you being here. This is an exciting night. Obviously, my first signing day here, and I just want to take a minute because obviously this show is about our football staff, and more importantly, the young men who decided to Aggie up today. You're going to hear that term a lot, and the young men who committed to helping us to push that needle of success a little bit further. But I want to take just a second before I introduce Coach Wells just to talk briefly about what this staff has done here in the last 6 weeks, because I know some of you out there are internet bloggers and look at the things going on. And, you know, we are not immune to hearing, oh gosh, you know, there's a mass exodus of staff, and, you know, how are we going to be able to pull a recruiting class together and all of these things. Well, let me tell you what has happened with this staff and led by Matt Wells, because, yes, there was some transition of staff, guys who we have no grudges against, because at the end of the day, and I tell all of our coaches, all of our staff this, if you are going to make a decision to move on elsewhere and it makes sense for you personally and professionally, we don't begrudge that at all. But I will say this, it has created some challenges for us, but I commend Matt and his staff, because these guys did not lose focus at all in recruiting. Yes, we still have a couple of positions to fill, but they made the decision, you know, about 3 weeks ago, hey, we can't worry about the positions that we don't have. We've got to be locked and loaded about getting the very best young men that we can to Utah State to help us win football games. And I think when you hear about this class, there's no question that this class did that. But in addition, and that continues a long history of this, when you look at this class, it's not just talented football players, it's talented young men on and off the football field, in the classroom, and guys of high character, and guys who are going to be great representatives for Utah State Aggie football and our great university, both on and off the field. So again, I appreciate you guys being here. Kudos to Matt and his staff, because they have been road warriors, locked and loaded. Kudos, I know some of the wives are in the crowd, including Jen. I know you guys hadn't had much contact with these guys lately. Hopefully you can take a couple of days now to catch your breath and get reacquainted with your spouses. But without further ado, Coach Matt Wells.
How's everybody doing tonight? Appreciate y'all coming out. Coming a long way. Some of you guys came up from down south, and I appreciate it. Few things, and then we're going to talk about why we're here, and that's these kids on this screen. But I want to go ahead and introduce these ladies up front because we haven't seen them in a long time, really and literally. And I really, especially the two wives in here, I don't know if they really want to see us that much in the next couple days, but we'll be around more often. My wife, Jen, right here on the front row. And then Coach DeMooney, Wanga DeMooney, our DFO, his wife, who's maybe the recruiter of the year, Val DeMooney. And then my administrative assistant, she does a really good job. She's not even been here for a year yet. And Brandy, you have handled a lot of guys with a lot of type A personalities in a very, very good way. But this is Miss Brandy up here. Okay, I'm going to introduce you just to the guys here real quick, and three of them are going to come up and talk. Just hold your applause. First of all, let's just start right here. Wonga Damuni, DFO, Department of Director of Football Operations, Department of whatever. We actually sent Wonga on the road to recruit this year, and the reason was because we were down staff, and that's legal and all that stuff. He passed the recruiting test, but it's the first time we've ever put Director of Football Ops on the road, and that'll be the last time we put somebody like that on the road. Oh, real talk, as we say in this room, real talk. He did a good job. Okay, that'll be the last time though. All right. New linebackers coach, second, I guess, stay back here at Utah State, was on staff for a couple years, about 10 years ago. Welcome, Dave Katulski. Okay. Wide receiver coach, Javon Bonite. Who else? Luke Wells right up here at the front. You guys know all them. And then a big welcome back to our new co-defensive coordinator, D-line coach, Frank Miley. Right up here, the guy that does everything well for us behind the scenes, Billy Guerin. Appreciate you, Billy. Just a few things, and then I'm ready to rip in and talk about these kids. But John alluded to a little bit of it. I'm very, very proud of these guys. Kendrick Shaver's not here tonight, but I'm really, really proud of these guys. We were major understaffed just from a numbers standpoint. And these guys grinded. Their focus was really, really good. I said today in the press conference, we beat some Pac-12 schools, we beat some Mountain West schools, and we beat Air University. I made it up today. We beat some guys on nobody. They had no offers. And pretty good chance they're going to be some really good players in my prediction. And then the comment I made following that up is here in about 3 months, 2 guys in this program that we beat Air University on are going to get drafted. So it's part of who we are. We're a developmental program in a lot of ways, whether it's athletically, it's in the weight room, it's developmentally, it's academically. We're not a selection school. We don't go out and pick a ready-made recruit. And our coaches and our staff, I think we take a lot of pride in that, in evaluations, seeing some things that other guys don't see. Once we get them in here, the aspect of coaching, the aspect of training in the weight room with Dave Scholes and his staff. They do a tremendous job with nutrition and all the things that they do. And so we beat some schools. We beat some schools in our league, and then we were the only offer for some guys. And so that's what I'm proud of these guys from an evaluation standpoint. It comes up in the meeting rooms. Who's our competition? What I don't like to hear is, the first 10 seconds of talking about a recruit is who's offered him. I don't care. At the end, you kind of want to know who your competition is and all that stuff. But it's about evaluation and what these guys think, especially live evaluations. And that's the other thing is we go through these guys, and I think Coach Wells, Coach Bonite, and Coach Miley, they'll be able to say a lot of these guys were in our camps. And so we got to see them live. Even some of the out-of-state, like the Florida guys, Coach Bonite had live evaluations on, and so that's a really, really critical part of our recruiting. So I'm proud of these guys for doing that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start, Billy, with the PowerPoint. Okay, our recruiting blueprint. Okay, I just put this up here just to talk a little bit because I think what you see is something that when I stood right over here 4 years ago and got this job, this is what I said would be our staff, which is ever so changing, okay, our recruiting blueprint. And it's about continuity. And this is the blueprint that has worked here at Utah State for quite some time. And some years you're a little heavier in some areas than others. Some of that has to do with guys, maybe you land at the last minute or you get beat on at the last minute. But every year, that's what our guys are going. It's going to come down to in-state guys, state of Utah first and foremost. Cache Valley, we signed 2 Cache Valley young men this year. Our mission program, talk about that. Polynesian Pipeline, in-state, in-state and out-of-state. Excuse me, out-of-state skill kids. Not to say we wouldn't take an out-of-state O-lineman, but we're looking for skill kids out-of-state, Florida, California, and Texas. Okay. And junior college kids to fill immediate needs at whatever position that we feel like has depth issues or maybe an immediate talent issue. So we hit all those. Signing class this year, you'll see 7 kids from the state of Utah on there. Okay, right now we're at 39 in-state. That's a good number. It'll end up being in the mid-40s once everybody gets in. You add these 7 guys that are in-state, and then we'll add probably another 4 to 5, so we'll be close to the high 40s or maybe 50, which is about right. We've been just under 50% the last 5 or 6 years of in-state kids. Right now, 13 kids from Cache Valley on the roster, adding 2 more. Polynesian Pipeline, current team right there is where we're at. 4 coaches, 20 players, signed 2 in this class, and could be a couple more here coming up. Our mission program, okay? Right now, out currently serving is 13, 21 on our current roster. This year we signed 3. That's probably our lowest number. We've been somewhere between 3 to 6 or 7. I think we had 6 or 7 my first year, which this is about right. Guys coming and going, and again, trying to focus on the positions when they're coming back, and I got asked that today. And that's one of the hardest things that we do as a staff, and I think we do it very, very well. Coach Miley will be a big, big part of this as he's coming back. But managing that, that's tough. Now it's managing a roster, but it's managing a very fluid, as many of you guys know, and I know there's many return missionaries here. I'm not talking to an uneducated crowd, but that mission situations, that's not cookie cutter. It's not 24 months the minute you leave. It ain't like that very often. There's kids that we had one have to come home and get a knee scoped and cleaned up, and then that puts him 3 more months out. Oh no, he gets early release. Oh no, he doesn't. He chose to stay out. We have some guys that have to, what would be the other verb? Come home for a minute or 2 or for good. Sometimes that paperwork doesn't go in all on time. And so that's an ever-changing situation that we all have to manage, and that's fun, but a very, very big part of our success. Where they all are from this year. Okay, you can kind of see the breakdown. Leading in-state, we had 5 kids from California, 4 from Florida. Actually, that number, I guess, is tweaked just a little bit. 2 high school kids from Florida. 2 junior college kids, right? Both from Florida originally, 1 out of Kansas, 1 out of California. But 4, I guess, high school players out of the state of Florida. 2 from Washington. I like getting up into Washington. This was, we signed 1 last year, Mason Tobeck, so now this is 3 kids in 2 years from the state of Washington. That's becoming a good little area for us right now in that Seattle area. Really, just brand recognition for obvious reasons. And we will continue to recruit up there in the Pacific Northwest. 1 from Oklahoma and 1 from Hawaii. Okay? A little bit of a breakdown. You can see that in your handouts. 16 high school, 4 junior college kids, and then 8 mid-year signees, which do include a few. And I'm going to talk about them right now for a second. Bill, just pause on that for a sec. Mid-year guys, got 8 guys in the program right now, and I'll talk about each one of them here just for a second. Because some of these are return missionaries that just got back this January. You won't see video on them. And a few kids that we gray-shirted. One was going to go on a mission and chose not to. Everybody's got their own story, but we've got 8 midterms in. Demetric Eliafua. Demetric is a guard center from San Leandro, California, Northern Cal. Ricky's little brother. We signed him in our signing class 2 years ago. Coach Frank had a big hand, and Coach Shaver, those two guys were his lead recruiters. And he is a good-looking kid. We got two young O-linemen. I'm going to skip down to Amu McMore. Used to be Viliamu Awe. Got a name change here in just the last little while, so that's why that looks a little different on your sheet. But Amu, we signed last year and gray-shirted him, a young man out of Hawaii. And those two guys coming in right now as young O-linemen, I think, is critical, not only for our development, but theirs as well, because we're so senior-oriented. We're very junior-senior oriented right now on our O-linemen, so to get young O-linemen in, Ty Shaw being the other one that comes in this summer is really important to us because these guys are the future center and guards here in about a year. Caden Anderson, Logan High School, defensive lineman, D-end right now, just came off his mission. Jordan Love is a high school quarterback. This guy's going to show video on him in just a little bit out of Bakersfield. Young 17-year-old kid. Should still be in high school right now, but he has done a nice job so far in the weight room here in the last few weeks, and our guys really like him. I already talked about Amu. Zach Swenson from East High is a safety. Just got back off his mission this January. Alex Byers is one of the wideouts Coach Bo Knight will talk about. Antelope Valley High School, where Hunter Sharp's from, is in here. Antonio Cole, he's not a high school kid, junior college, NEO. He's only been in junior college for one semester. He was a high school qualifier and went to NEO up in Miami, Oklahoma. So he is really like, if he was already in here, he'd be like a redshirt freshman. He's young. So he has 3 more years of eligibility. He still has a redshirt year. A tall corner. We signed 2 tall corners. Got tired of getting dunked on late in the year last year. Late in November, a few guys didn't get that. That means we went against 6'5" wideouts, and I got tired of having 5'10" corners in perfect position, and we're going to try to get a little bit longer out there, and we did that. And then the last one, Sean Taylor out of Laney. Laney Junior College has been good to us. Same junior college Paul Pucala went to, Chuck Jacobs. We beat a lot of people on Sean Taylor. I'm excited. He's an athletic offensive lineman, play guard or tackle. All those guys that I just mentioned, all 8 of those guys are right here, right now. They'll go through spring ball. Good? Okay, so the next 3 guys up, Coach Bonite, Coach Wells, and Coach Miley. I'm just going to kind of turn it over to them. We're going to cut the lights and start watching some video and let these guys talk about this recruiting class, and then I'll come back up here in a little bit. Okay?
Not sure I was feeling the love after we introduced Frank Miley. Alex Byers, a kid with incredible talent, exceptional speed. We're really excited about him. Had a few setbacks in high school, but we're all human. We all make mistakes, and he's looking to make the best out of it. Like Coach mentioned before, he is from Antelope Junior College, and like I said, he is here with us right now and looking to have a great spring. Big, tall, long kid, and like I said, we are excited. Rayshawn Lewis, this was an interesting one. Not sure you know his father. I think he was just an average linebacker in the NFL. So, but no, I had a wonderful opportunity to meet his family, and what a wonderful family that was. And Ray Schott is a wonderful young man, looking to make a name for himself, and I believe he's done that so far in high school. Very versatile athlete. He's played corner. I mean, he was on our board as a corner, then went to receiver, and that just kind of tells you a little bit about his attributes and what he brings to the table. Very elusive, very quick, dynamic, also a returner, and he is a special kid that I believe that could play for us here. Craig Rucker. For those of you who have been of Aggie, you know, the last couple of years, I think once you see the highlights, you'll kind of understand which direction we're heading. Very special player we had a couple of years ago, has a lot of the similar traits. Small package, but very explosive, very dynamic, and he's going to excite you guys. He's going to wow you, and we're really excited about this one as well. I believe this was a three-time steal for us out of Fort Scott, originally from Belle Glade, Florida. Didn't have a lot of traffic, but this kid is all of 6'5". I was able to watch him work out in person, and he grabs that ball out in front, and he takes everything from the ceiling. Just like this kid has phenomenal talent. Like I said, he's everything of 6'5", about 210, I believe, what he weighed in last, and I think he is going to be a steal and a sleeper in this next fall for us. From Valley Christian High School, Bay Area, Coach Shaver had the opportunity to recruit him. We watched him on film. This kid is very dynamic. He played linebacker and a little bit of corner his junior year, and then played a little bit of running back, and then senior year played all the running back. He could do it all. He could run the ball, catch the ball, very shifty with his size. He's all of 6'1", over 200. I mean, the kid looks well put together. So you will be excited when you see this kid because he could do it all. And like I said, we're not sure what he's going to do, but as far as running back, receiver, he possesses all those tools. Micaiah Gilmore from the greater Seattle. Like Coach mentioned, alluded to earlier, got a pipeline going from Seattle, and it's continuing to grow, and we're excited about that. Micaiah actually came to us in the summer and was here at camp, so we actually had a great chance of evaluating him. A long corner that could play with exceptional speed. We had an opportunity of timing him, and like I said, he is a physical long corner that can run, but also could play anywhere in the secondary. So I know Coach Shave was licking his chops about this kid, and we are excited. Next up is Coach Wells. Thank you.
Next young man is Antonio Cole from Minio Junior College in Oklahoma, which those of you who don't know, that is home of the Kendrick Shaver. And Coach Shave is fired up about this guy. Got a chance to see him a lot this fall, seeing him play. He, like Coach Wells said earlier, was a high school qualifier, so only played one semester here at NEO, is at our place right now. And so you guys are going to get to see him play for 3 years. But really fired up about this guy. Really dynamic, athletic, and like Coach said earlier, a bigger corner that can help us in this league. Next guy's Jordan Love. Like Coach Wells said earlier, he is on campus right now. So he was a mid-year high school graduate QB, and can honestly look you guys in the eye and say we got our #1 quarterback. And so we are very, at all positions, we're going to be thorough in recruiting, but this position especially, we targeted a lot of guys last spring through a lot of film evaluation and a lot of live evaluations. We saw from camp this summer, we had a lot of kids fly in from evaluations in the spring throughout Texas and California and other places that have spring ball. This was our number one guy. He came to camp this summer, and he can really spin it. He's athletic. He's very accurate. Put up big numbers as a senior, and we're looking for big things out of him. Bryce Mortensen, most of you guys know Bryce, right up the road from Skyview. And here's a guy that we've seen a lot over the last couple of years. The kid's been in camp every year. Long, dynamic kid that has played receiver. We expect him to play tight end. He will go on an LDS mission. Very comparable to Dax Raymond. Similar size, speed, ball skills. I've gotten a chance to watch him numerous times play basketball. Very competitive, very athletic. The other part of him too is he came to camp multiple days, put the pads on. We try to test his courage and his toughness and those type of things to see if he could block and do the things that we need to do with our tight ends, and he can do it. Next man, Ty Shaw, from the state champs from Harriman, is another guy that came to camp, and kind of like Bryce. I mean, the dude grew up wearing Utah State underwear. So when we offered this kid a scholarship, he took it before he called his parents, and so he's that kind of guy. He's fired up to be an Aggie. We liked him at camp. He's still got some growing to do. You look at him, he's definitely never shaved before. He's still kind of growing into a man. He's long, he's athletic. He's a 55-foot shot put guy, very athletic tackle. He's got good genes too. His dad played for the Royals, played for the Reds, and he's from an athletic family. But excited about this kid, and like I said, he's fired up to be an Aggie. Sean Taylor, another one, mid-year guy, junior college guy from Laney that we're expecting to come in and have an immediate impact on our offensive line. Beat out half the Mountain West on him, and he's a nasty dude now. I mean, he will get after you. He will play hard and play physical. One of those guys that we feel like can play guard or play tackle. But excited about Sean and what he's going to bring to the table. Next up is Coach Miley.
Okay, Simeon Matangi, Bingham High School, another local kid from South Jordan. The thing about, sometimes about recruiting, you don't get to see it all on film. Simeon came to camp, blew us away, very, very long kid, very athletic. Because of how we use our linebackers, we need versatile linebackers that can do a lot of different things, and he can do that. He can move in space, he can run, he's long, he's explosive, and so he's a kid that's going to go on his mission. Fortunately for him, over those 2 years when his genetics kicks in, because he is a lighter kid, 210, he'll get heavier. So look forward to seeing him come back in 2 years. Trey Miller, okay, from St. George, Utah, Dixie High School, okay. So what Coach forgot to mention is he had an SEC offer from Vanderbilt. I know that because I'm the one that gave it to him when I was there. So very explosive. He's a big back. He'll come downhill, but what sets him apart? Great balance, great vision, great ball skills. But he can run. He's got some juice to him. Very explosive kid. We beat a few guys at the end to get him last minute after his last visit, committed to us, and so he'll go on a mission as well. Look forward to getting him back in 2 years. Troy Murray, right down the street, Logan High School. Logan's been good to us, and he's been nothing different that's been coming out of the high school. He came to camp. He's a long, tough, blue-collar kid that we love, that they produce out of there. Great motor. He's explosive off the football. He can rush. He's kind of a tweener for us right now. Can be an outside backer into the boundary or defensive end as his body grows. We'll see where that takes him, but very excited about this young man, this individual, and we're excited about where he's going to go. So very long, very explosive, very physical kid, great motor. Justice Tei, linebacker from Mission Hills High School, San Marcos, California, San Diego kid. This kid to me is going to be a very special player. Again, with our backers, we like him to be very versatile. He can be inside, outside. Very interesting kid. He's explosive. He's physical. Great vision. Great balance on his feet. Great with his hands. And so we're very excited about this one. And again, he's going to bring that that Polynesian pipeline tie to us from San Diego. Another Polynesian kid from California. But very excited about him. He's going to be a really good player. Woodward, a kid from Olympia High School, Olympia, Washington. To tell you the truth, when we watch this kid's film, he plays both ways, offense and defense. He's a very explosive kid, very elusive, very versatile kid. Again, as far as our linebackers go, we want him to be able to do a lot of different things, to rush, drop into coverage, play man on man. But this kid reminded us of Nick Vigil. Okay, he's a little bit bigger than what Nick was when Nick came out of high school, but very similar style. He's a long kid. He's explosive. He's athletic. Moves well in space, and he can run. Go Aggies. You know, one of the things about those guys, I could have done a better job of pointing it out, but there's a lot of those guys that are multi-sport kids that these guys, you could hear just in between some of their comments, we saw them compete. We saw them work out live. The power of a live evaluation, man, I think sometimes that gets lost in recruiting. And I'm proud of our coaches and their efforts. In terms of that, we saw guys play basketball. Troy Murray from Logan is a big-time track kid at 6'4", high jumping, throwing the shot, all the stuff that he does. David Woodward, who you just saw, I got to watch him play basketball, I guess 2 weeks ago up there. And he didn't score many points. I think he was a little nerved up a little bit, but he had 4 fouls, and so I was very, very proud of him as a basketball player. And so we've seen a few of them. It's just big for us, multi-sport athletes, competitive. I don't think there's there's not a better thing that you can have as an athlete coming into college to me to be a competitive multi-sport guy. There's some of those guys, there's a few of them that are just football only and they train, and I get all that, and that's a trait that's hard to coach in college, and those kids that have been very successful in here. And I think about those, some of those guys I was just talking about that we're losing, that are about to get drafted and play in the NFL. Those guys are multi-sport guys in high school, and that's, I don't know, it's not a requirement, but it's something that I think we place a big value in when we're looking at those kids and evaluating those guys. Big year for us, and you saw a lot of numbers in receivers. We signed 4 of them, 2 junior college guys, 2 guys with length and height, and then 2 little guys that can run right underneath that desk.
and they're small and short, but very, very dynamic and athletic. And that's the way we play with our offense. There's a place in our offense for those guys. You guys have seen some of the guys right now. Andrew Rodriguez is doing a nice job for us as a senior. Kennedy Williams, there's a place in our offense. There's some offenses that won't even look at those guys, but they can do something with the ball in their hands, and they're dynamic. Coach Bo does a nice job of developing those young kids. And Rucker and Rayshad, I think those two guys will be able to come in and compete. Can they play right away? I don't know. Tell you about the third week in August. We'll see. But I think they're, you kind of go back and base it off of some guys we've had in here, and you think that they can do that. Another spot is linebackers. Saw a lot of linebackers. You're going to see some more. Maybe getting a little ahead of myself right now. We got some spots still open. Don't ask me here in a minute when we do questions and answers, because I'm not going to tell you exactly how many. But we have an open scholarship or two, and there's going to be still targeted on linebackers, and some guys you're going to see probably announced here in the next couple weeks for whatever reason that they're late, but it doesn't matter. Some of our best players have been some of our later signees, where I think we've done a very nice job as a staff, as assistants, of being very calculated and thorough in what we're looking for, and comparing it to who we got right now and making our program better, making a room better, making a position room better. And then the other thing was big corners. And we signed 2 6-foot at least plus corners, and so that was a big emphasis. Those are really the three areas right there. Next year, as we look ahead, next year will be big time interior O-line, D-line. We already know it going into next year's signing class. That's a little bit why there's a Ty Shaw right now, Demetric Alifua, Amu. Those guys are coming in right now. Coach Miley just mentioned even Troy Murray, who's a hybrid guy for us, end up putting his hand down on the ground and being a DN. But there's more to come. There always is for us. When we end up having a scholarship or two late, open, we very rarely reach right before signing day. I think that's where a lot of mistakes are made, when you don't have a lot of information on a kid, and maybe somebody dropped him or he wants something better, and you just try to sign him to get another number on signing date. We don't do that. We're going to try to hold and evaluate a little bit better and get some guys late, whether they are high school or junior college guys that maybe didn't get what they wanted, or they've got more academic work to do, that we can be very supportive of. I think we've got a good track record with those young men, and especially getting them in here and graduating them. And then the other one that we'll look at is graduate transfers. I think we're 2 for 2. We signed LT Filianga 2 years ago and Ben Wysocki this past year from UCLA. Those guys both came in and were immediate contributors, starters immediately. And if we can get our hands on a guy that can come in any spot and play, say, minimum of 25, 30 plays a game, we'll take a kid 1 for 1 year. It's absolutely worth it. So you got to have long-range plans, which you see with mission plans, mission kids, you see with young freshmen, and some of them very developmental, and then some freshmen ready to play right now, and then you see more immediate in the junior college rank, and maybe even some scholarships that we're going to hold coming out. But there are a couple things I'm going to say, and then I'm going to open it up for some question and answers. If they're good questions, we'll talk about them. And but anyway, I want to thank, I know in this group, Merlin Olsen Fund, Big Blue Scholarship, season ticket holders. You guys are, you're the backbone of Aggie athletics, but just as important as the head football coach from a football standpoint. That's obviously our Merlin Olsen Fund, but there's a lot of people that I see in this room I've seen every year I've been here, and to me, I want to just say thank you. You're the ones that, you're here in an 11-win season, you're here in a 6-win season, 5 straight bowls. You've been through good days and bad days. We all have, especially us as alumni, and I just say thank you. Coming up tonight, a lot of you guys drove, even from Salt Lake and Utah County, and come up to support, come watch, come hear a little bit something that you're not going to read in the paper, but to come out and support our staff. That's the other thing. There's going to be some staff announcements come up short. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I didn't talk about it with the media today. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. But in the next week to 10 days, there are going to be quite a few announcements, whether it's, coordinators, it's guys coming into this staff. That was a hard deal, and I'll just talk about it. John talked about it a little bit, but There's a lot of those guys that felt like maybe they had a better job or the better opportunity professionally or personally, and they go with high fives and hugs and job well done. And that happens. That happens when you could have put a good product on the field. When we play on Friday night and Thursday night, guys, we're on national television. Every Division I coach in America is watching the Aggies. And they see things that are going on in Logan. And I think that's, it's tough on me. It's tough on these guys. It's tough on Wonga. Wonga's got to get everybody out of here and everybody back in for me. It's hard. It's hard as heck. But I had a coach tell me about 2 weeks ago. He said, Matt, listen, 3 years ago, you could have just hired average guys on your staff, and you'd have maybe won just a little bit or whatever, but hired average guys, and 2, 3, 4 years later, okay, they're still with you, and you got a lot better winter vacation, you got a lot better time after the bowl game, you don't cancel ski trips like we did again because it all hits the fan and all that stuff. But he said, I'm not sure if that's really good for your program in the direction you're going if that's the case. If ain't nobody coming after your guys, you got an issue. And so I'm not saying that to justify anything. I'm trying to tell you guys, you know what? There's good stuff going on. You go walk right down this hallway, and there is 100 and how many? 20-something kids that have graduated out of this program in a row. Haven't missed one. This year's senior class, we got 21 kids. 17 of them graduated last May or in December. And if the other 4 knuckleheads don't screw it up, it'll be that way 7 straight years this May. And that's something we're all proud of. And the reason, because of that, is some of those guys that just walked out the door and these guys sitting right here. That's the reason, is the assistant coaches. That streak spans 2 head coaches and 3 academic coordinators. Okay? So it ain't the head coach, and it's 3 academic coordinators, all right? I'll just say it ain't me, all right? Big, important part of that is our academic staff. I didn't mean it that way. Y'all know what I mean. We are getting live streamed, aren't we? That red light's on. You know what I'm talking about. But in my opinion, a lot of the reason, because of the sheer numbers of these guys right here, and a lot of those guys that just walked out the door. And that's important to us as a program. We're winning a lot of games. We've won 43 games in the last 5 years. In the western half of the United States, there's only 2 other programs that can say that they won more than us. And been to 5 straight bowl games, about to make it 6. And had a little bit streak and then a screw up there in Boise, or we've been 4 straight, and that irks all of us right now. But I'm proud of what we've done. Have we gotten to the top of that mountain? Nope, sure haven't. There's 1 trophy sitting down there we don't have yet. But it's a process of getting there. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about 6 new guys coming in. New ideas, new energy. I say 6 new, sorry. This guy's been here a long time. How many years you said? 10?
Something like that.
Something like that. As a player and a GA and a guy that's worked himself up. The other thing that I'll say that everybody ought to know, okay, is the 3 full-time assistants plus the ops guy, all 4 turned down jobs to stay here. So there was a minute there, I about lost 10 guys in case anybody's wondering. And she knew it. So those 4 chose to stay. And they turned down money. They turned down money. They turned down titles. They turned down, whatever, a bigger school, Power 5 or whatever the heck we call it now, John. Well, I don't need BCS, whatever. Bigger schools, they stay here at Utah State. There's good stuff going on. We got great kids in this program. We just added some really good ones. And there's not very many more pieces of the puzzle, in my opinion, to get this team back to where we need it to be at a high, high level. It was about that much right there in 3 games that came down to half a dozen plays in every game. And that's a big emphasis. It will be in this offseason. Our guys got to understand, our coaches got to understand, man, you can play really, really good, but when is those plays going to come? And don't get me started. I can name them all right now, okay? But we're that to me, it's that close. There's good stuff going. I'm proud of these guys that stayed. I'm happy to bring the new guys in. That'll be fun. You know, if I want to hire guys that want to be in Logan, Utah. They want to be in this type of program with this environment. And there's a lot of guys out there that want that. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think you'll be excited when you see some of those announcements. And if you're not, you'll learn to be excited when you see them and see the way they work. And so the key to that is for myself and for these guys to integrate them very, very quickly into what we do around here, our culture, the way we train, the way we develop our players, and that I think they need to come in and embrace it really, really quick. And then we as the staff that's been here for a few years, okay, we need to embrace new ideas and try to integrate them into our, whether it's schemes or our development or our culture, to try to make us and improve our product and make our product better. So I'm very, very, I'm almost re-energized and excited to get into the off-season program here in about a week and get in here early mornings and getting that indoor with our guys and start going to work on the 2016 season. So again, from me to you, our staff to you, thank you for all you do, especially you Merlin Olsen Fund members, everything that you do for that. Obviously, a lot of it goes to assistance, salary pool, and everything like that gets better and better. And I just appreciate you and want to say thank you. So thanks for coming out. With that, I'll go ahead and open up for any questions. Always, right off the get. Go ahead.
When you have a player who is a athlete who's played multiple positions, like Woodward, he's played safety, he caught balls deep, he did all sorts of stuff. What's the decision-making process for he's going to play linebacker, or he's going to play this or that?
Twofold. Number one, consult with the kid, and we talk to those guys. A lot of those guys that you saw are actually two-way players and multiple sport guys. You know, with David, I'm going to reduce how many times I say it because the kid's about to get drafted. It's not fair to compare an 18-year-old to a draft pick, but he does remind us of Nick. I mean, that's what Nick's tape was very, very similar. Nick was a half-field cover 2 safety that came off the hash and knocked the heck out of people. And he was a high school tailback, and he was a multiple sport guy. And Nick was a guy that I remember Coach Bo and I evaluating from an offensive standpoint when Nick came to camp. And I remember Gary coming up and saying, hey, put your eyes on this kid and watch him here for a couple hours. And we watched him. And at that time when I was the coordinator, I said, Coach, I'll take that kid right now. He's an H-back tight end. He'd be dynamic. And he says, good, glad you like him. He's going to play linebacker. So that's, I think, you know, and Coach Cotto would agree, and I know Coach Miley would, those are linebackers you want. You want an offensive coach. Coach Luke has coached tight ends for a long time here and some other places. When you look at a guy and you go, man, that guy could be an H-back tight end. He can stretch the field vertical. He can run option routes. He can block on the edge and the perimeter. That's the athletic linebackers you want. Now, these guys can go mold them into our scheme. He'll start at backer because we have a need there, and that's where we vision him. But that guy, I think we could put him on offense a little bit. You know, not right now. That'd blow his mind. Keep it simple for him. So we talked to the kid. You want to play him at safety? Yeah. Good question. You know, and Coach Bonite, he talked about Rashad. Let's talk about Rashad. Rashad was on our recruiting board as a corner for a long time. And then our focus was trying to get bigger corners. That kid can play corner. He's actually probably a little bit more of a nickel, like a slot. When we play a nickel corner against our slot receivers we see in the Mountain West. But we needed another slot on offense, and we started evaluating him. I mean, obviously you can watch the tape. You can see him playing both ways. So we have more of a need for Rashad at receiver 2 right now in terms of a slot receiver than we do at corner. But that's one of those guys where you get into, you know, week 3 of training camp here in 2 years once he's kind of figured it out a little bit, and that guy could go over and play corner for a practice or 2. He could cross-train. And then you have injuries at the end of the year. Shoot, 2 years ago we were playing played a wideout at quarterback for a series in the bowl game, you know? So you got to get out of games sometimes. Nope, that was a wave. Okay.
Speaking of Ray Shaw, do you think we'll see Ray Lewis give any pep talks or coming out of the tunnel doing his packet thing?
Question number 2. I'm surprised it wasn't 1. No, I think he just wants to be a dad, honestly, you know? So he may be an all-pro on the field. He's probably the best all-pro we've seen. I mean, that's an emotional leader, and obviously, I mean, everybody's seen the tape and TV. That he can lead and give emotional pep talks, there's no question. But I think he just, I mean, it was an awesome, Coach Bonite didn't really go into it, but I will a little bit since you asked. It was really a cool weekend with him, just in terms of he just fit in. He was a dad. He was completely engaged in dinner, wasn't he, Val? Yeah. Yeah. Val held court with him all night, Texas Roadhouse. He was asking questions, very informative. And you didn't see him going off, or he did the whole thing. And just trying to be about his kid. So it was cool. Yeah.
Can you make a few comments about how last year's classes progressed or doing?
Yeah. No, I only paused. I'm trying to remember last year's class. The true freshman. Help.
Is that a bad sign?
No, but the good sign is a lot of the true freshmen didn't play, and we were able to redshirt them because we had depth. Dax Raymond wasn't in last year's class. Dax Raymond was our very first mission class. Coach Frank recruited Dax out of Tentview High School, and then Dax went on a mission. Coach Miley went on a sabbatical, and Dax came back, and Dax played till he got hurt there in the middle of the year. He played from game 1 on, and that was a young man coming off a mission. True freshman. Devontae Mays was a junior college transfer from Blinn. Probably took over the starting job right after the Fresno game, about mid-October, and played really well down the stretch. He looks like a beast right now in the weight room. Look for him to have a really good senior year. That was a really good junior college pickup for us. True freshman, Chad Artis, redshirt. Gerald Bright, redshirt. Pensacola, those 2 receivers are going to be in the mix this spring. 1 slot. Chad's an outside receiver that can really go vertical and take the top off. Cade Smith is a quarterback. Yep, went through a red shirt and really ran the scout team. Tough kid, dual threat. We'll see really the first action because being the 5th last year in training camp, he didn't get much in our 3 scrimmages. Not much, a little bit.
Levitt.
Dallin Levitt, y'all gonna enjoy watching him play. So without saying a guy's gonna start, you can tell by that reaction he's gonna play a lot. That kid can play safety. The kid can play corner. He is a really good leader. He is, even with a kid that was, transfer and set out last year, he's a leader. He ran the scout team defense, and he'll be one of the leaders on the defense.
See the transfer from UAE?
He is, yep. Originally out of Oregon, transfer, sat out last year, and he'll have 2 years. He'll be a junior next year.
Speaking of player leaders, the last couple of years, Chucky has been quite influential in helping to recruit. Who kind of played that role this year, and who do you look to in the coming years to kind of do some of that?
I'll tell you what, Dallin's a good recruiter. Got to keep him off Twitter a little bit. Ricky Eliafoud did a nice job. Dallin did a really good job. Justin Hervey was a tremendous host for a lot of these kids. But we like to mix it around. I mean, those 3 come to my mind right now. Tyler Fox did a nice job. He hosted a couple of those wideouts. We like to mix it around just so those guys get around more guys and get around our players. Our players are our best recruiters. Those are some of those guys. They did a nice job with the recruits as they came in.
Yes. How is Justin Irby doing? And does he like the school and stuff?
I think he loves it here. Man, what a great kid. He gets up. I don't think that kid's ever had a bad day. And his parents haven't either. I mean, that's the happiest go-lucky family I've ever seen in my life. And he's done well. He's fitting in. And I think he loves Utah State. The kid loves it. He's got good speed, and you got to continue to utilize him and his strengths and what he can do. He played a little bit on special teams, played in more roles as October and November went on, and played in a handful of personnel groups and some different stuff that we did. A lot of more speed sweep stuff and speed stuff on the perimeter. So,
Who was that?
Justin Hervey, he's a young, he was a redshirt freshman running back out of Houston. Not Houston, he's from Beaumont. Yep.
I don't know if you can talk about Braxton Gunther and his situation where he was supposed to sign today.
I can recognize that we are recruiting him. And that's it. Sorry, I can't say any more than that.
Who was the name?
There was a kid that get announced in December, Victor Villarreal or something like that.
Did not qualify. It was supposed to have been a midterm graduate and did not graduate.
So we still on him then, or?
He is still a recruitable student athlete. Again. Yes.
So with the graduation of your linebackers, who do you have left at linebacker today?
We've been spending a lot of time in there. We're going to go to 5 D linemen and 6 DBs. There are a lot of guys that are youthful and don't have a tremendous amount of experience. That's why you're going to see a lot of recruits and a lot of those guys. Coach Cotto and Coach Miley got their work cut out for them. Just because that position graduated a lot of depth, senior, and there wasn't a lot of depth behind it as far as playing. We played those guys. We lost a lot, and then obviously with Nick leaving too. Anthony Williams, Chase Christiansen, Chasen Anderson, Alex Huerta, Derek Larson. There's a lot of those young kids. I know I left Mason Tobeck's a young redshirt. Brock Carmen played late last year. He's kind of our third in. A junior college kid, he'll be a senior next year. Joe Riggins is a freshman we redshirted. So, I mean, a lot of those guys are a lot of new names for, obviously, me and for y'all, too. So we'll see. Spring will tell. And then when these guys get in here, they'll obviously get a chance to compete pretty early, too. Yes, sir.
How's Travis Seafeld coming?
Good. What a story. What a great story. He's doing well. Being a really good leader. In fact, he had a lot of the defensive linemen in there. Coach Miley told me today, just doing extra, being football junkies. A guy that I think obviously appreciates life and every day, and probably loves a little harder and lives a little harder every day. It'll be neat to see him get a 6th year. But the other thing that's going to be neat, there's always, I don't know what the right saying is. I'll get butchered tonight. Probably I'll mess this quote up. But whatever, the good things that come out of bad things or adversity arose or whatever, the kid's going to graduate with his undergrad and get his MBA. He'll be done. So that's a neat deal for him. So, and then he'll be coach. He'll be the assistant D-line coach with Coach Miley. But he's going to be a player. Sorry, player coach. Yeah, he knows he knows our whole defense and does a great job with those young kids. But it'll be neat to see him get back out there and play.
You had some tough, close losses last year. Is there anything you can pinpoint that may have contributed more than anything else in those games?
Not just one thing. I think, I remember vividly, the one at Albuquerque, one at Colorado Springs, and the bowl game. You got 3 right there that, was right down to the wire. I can remember New Mexico game. I mean, the ball's on the ground in the red zone. 4 times on offense, on defense, and special teams, and we don't come up with one of them. You know, one of those, our defense went 3 and out, backed up, and cost points, and that right there cost us the ball game. And then it was the other ones that we didn't get in there. Could have been a field goal, could have been another red zone turnover, or a red zone possession for the offense. I mean, sorry. This is what you live with right here. I can remember every one of them. One of them is miscommunication on defense, you know, between corner and safety. So don't think that's going to be a big topic of discussion in the offseason. It is. But so are those other things. And, you know, I think at times, whether it was offense, defense, it was need to have better coaching, better leadership. There's a lot of things to pinpoint. It's hard to say it's one thing. You know, it's not either side of the ball. It's just hard. Some of that's mojo. Some of that's confidence. You know, you win that first one, that comes down to that one, and it's a really close game, and then you probably win Air Force. The hardest thing for everybody in this room to take is winning either one. We'd have been in the championship game. Either one. You know, and so that's what's hard when you know that 8 months of off season of recruiting, and then all the stuff you come down to, it comes down to that many plays in one ball game, and you just win one of those 2, and you're in the You're in the Mountain West championship game, and we won one of those 2. And so, man, that just brightened everybody's night, because everybody knows, oh, we finished 6 and 7, we got beat in the bowl game, and it was a close loss. And to say, if we'd have won one of those 2 games, we came down the wire. I mean, shoot, we threw the thing in the garage 4 times against Air Force and didn't come out with one of them. You know, we were all the way down there. But we stunk on defense for about a quarter and a half. You know, and in New Mexico, we played great on defense for about 85 plays, and one play we did not communicate. And it was a touchdown on a guy that was going to be a decoy. So, and that's what's hard. So you can't, it's hard to pin it down. Leadership, coaching, player-led leadership, those kind of things. You got to win a couple close games and have that mojo. And I think that confidence sometimes carries on to the next week.
Just walk us through the last few days in recruiting. Last week you had a lot of flight times in players' homes, families, and visits, and then when you have a dead period, the last couple of days where you're just trying to hang on to players, or are you out there talking to them?
Babysitting, hanging on, praying, a little bit of everything,
So
begging.
Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday, yeah.
Players still, or were you?
No, well, we were here on campus. That is a dead period. We're just on the phone at that period. So the question was, walk us through the last few days and maybe even the last week. These guys were, we were crisscrossing each other in the air and in Salt Lake, then up and down the Wasatch Front. Really, Coach Cotto and Luke and Frank and myself have been ripping and running through the state, even seeing a bunch of juniors, and really getting Frank back in the state was key here late. Coach Bonite's been from Florida to California to Arizona. Coach Shaver's not here, he's been everywhere. Myself, you know, that's the hardest for me. It's the most challenging because as a head coach, you're a lot more limited by the rules than the assistant coaches are. I can only see a kid one time off campus. That's it. In December, in January, and then with the December schedule being kind of late, and then us playing in an early bowl game and missing some of those recruiting days due to practice, bowl practice, which I'll never apologize for. That's great. Well, I take that every year. It's just we were very, very limited in December. We only had one recruiting weekend, one major recruiting weekend in December. And this year, a lot of the kids' visits, really the way the calendar went the last 3 weekends, there were a lot more decisions this year made late than we've had the last few years. But and then with obviously some guys leaving staff, and there was just these guys right here plus Coach Shaver. It's kind of been doing double duty. So and then when they have me, I slow them down, and they got to drop me off, and then I'm out going to another city. And so the last 2 weeks have been very, very hectic. Sunday we had a lot of kids leave campus, and then so Sunday, Monday, and yesterday, we're dead as far as being off the road. We can't be in the schools or the homes. We can only be on the phone. So that's what the last few days look like. Yes, sir.
Are the kids as excited about the stadium as we are? Does that affect them as much as it is us, the fans?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think as the season goes on and you were seeing it go up, absolutely. You know, just lately they're not in there because of the snow. They're in the indoor and the weight room, so maybe they don't see it. But man, you see that thing going up in the street from 8 East right here, and it gets us as coaches excited. You bring in new coaches, interview guys to campus, and it's just, again, to me, it's a real simple reflection of the support of our administration. From President Albrecht, everybody up on the Hill, John Hartwell, his staff, the money that John's helped raise just even the last 6 months. It is validation of the support that Utah State football has right now. And it's big time. And I think you see it with recruits, but I think you see it when you bring an assistant coach in to interview them for a job. And they're just like, wow. And they walk in the weight room. Kids are always wild, but they're 17. They don't know. We've already signed them. I can say that. But when you bring an assistant coach in and they see your building, your complex, your weight room, your indoor, what's going on, I think that it's just big time. You don't have to say we get great support, and it's getting better and better and better. You just walk around and you're a tour guide, and you show them and they see it. So yeah, it's huge. And that'll be fun to kick off the state, kick off that Weaver State game. It will be done, right? Done. Okay. What else? Any more? Yes, sir.
I got excited about Troy Murray, and not just because he's from here, but I think he's really good. And how do you get a kid like that just at the last minute to change his plan? And so that's one question. And did you lose any at the last minute that all of a sudden wavered on your committee to you? Or?
Yeah, we did. We lost a few that chose to go to another place and do whatever they
you kind of had them, and then you had them, and then they leave. But
we have, but every year and at this point you get disappointed, but it's really sometimes no more of a disappointment maybe in the last 24 hours than it was 2 months ago when you lost out on the kid. The kid just made an earlier decision. It's just magnified more in the last 48 hours. But you talk at this point, it's all about recruiting and everything. And then this afternoon it turns into coach mode, and now we get to coach these kids that are coming in. Troy Murray's already asked for Dave Scholl's number. I mean, that guy, he's focused. He's ready to go, and that was a fun recruiting process with him down the last 10 days, and ultimately this is where he wants to be. And I really think with kids like that, especially local kids and in-state kids, and when he's wanted to wear this logo for a long time, those kids end up maybe just like Chad, artist is white out from Logan, and the other kids we have from Mountain Crest and Skyview in the program, the Cache Valley kids, sometimes they end up developing a little quicker because it means something more to them. So we're never going to have a roster full of Cache Valley kids. I'm not going to have 22 starters from Cache Valley. That ain't going to work. Okay? But when we do truly believe in our evaluation that we've got a kid in our home state, in our home valley, county, whatever, that can help us win a Mountain West championship, we're absolutely going to go after him, and we're absolutely going to engage him.
So with Stan's announcement today, will you comment on what it's been like to work with Stan and what kind of president he has been?
Awesome. It's been, for me, it's been, again, support. When I go to head coaches meetings, in Phoenix in May, and you run into other ADs or head coaches, and they say, man, you got a good president. I always like saying, you don't know him. And they go, no, we know of him. And I just think presidents, that's a lot because of his involvement with the NCAA, a lot of the committees and boards that President Albrecht's on. But not only is he an awesome man and a leader for this university, but just personally, the support, whether it's a word, a text message, really big time. I don't think there's any question that this program is where it's at because of President Albright. It's not even close. He's the reason why, because of the support. We had him up. You should have seen him Saturday night. I mean, and nobody in this building knew he was, 7 days away or 6 days away. I don't know. Oh man, you're very smart. How many days was that? A few. Several. Where's he from? A few days from retirement. That guy, for 20 minutes Saturday night before the basketball game, went by and personally visited with every recruit in his family. And he already knew who was going to be there. He knew who they were. Okay? He needed about a 1-minute recap when he walked up the steps. That to me is impressive. That's big time. And he went around and touched each one of them and knew where they were from. Mission kid, non-mission kid. Always had something to laugh, or a story or something. He gets it. He gets it. He can recruit. But I go on and on about him. Big time. Big shoes to fill. And I think this university, and I know our program, myself, we'll be indebted to him for a long time. Yeah.
You mentioned that you had a number of your staff that had other offers and chose to stay here.
All the rest of them.
You didn't mention the one that we want to make sure stays here for a long time. And that's the man standing there.
Don't worry about him. It's, you know what, I get way too much credit when we win. Too much when we lose too. Brett and I have talked about that before. No, but at the end of the day, it's about us. This is a we, us, and our program. And everything that we want to be about is this logo. And it's about these coaches. But it's really about the guys below us, or in the locker room and the players. That's what it's about. And these guys, when I say they turn down jobs, I don't even like that term. I'd use another term. They chose Utah State is what they chose. And so for me, it was a sign of support, a sign of we're all in. And there may be a day and time these guys leave. If they get a better opportunity, that'd be great. But loyalty to me, the part of loyalty that involves longevity, to me is only a fraction of it. Loyalty, I don't think means longevity. It means 24/7. That this logo right here is more important than yourself. And we like to tell recruits, I love to tell them, that I really think that we can win with them. But I promise you, we're going to win without you. So jump on if you want to come on. And I say that to coaches. And I had a coach the other day, and I don't mind saying it. And I'd offered him a job. He said, no, I'm going to stay. And I said, okay, no problem. And he's like, I'm not going to keep talking or renegotiate or anything. I said, no. I want guys want to be in Logan. I want guys want to be here. I ain't going to talk you into it. So the guys that we're going to announce next week, I promise you they want to be here. So that's important to me. And it's way bigger than one person. A head coach, a former head coach, a quarterback, Lord knows we've been through a lot of them. I mean, and an assistant coach, same thing. When they're here, be where your feet are, do a great job. If you get a better opportunity, rock on, rock out of here. These guys chose to stay, and I'm happy they did. And a lot of credit goes to these guys. Man, this Q&A's taking forever. Just kidding. Any other questions? We good?
Coach Bootnight, he doesn't need to take the sabbatical and come back to get the love. We still love him.
Who's that? Oh, Coach Bonak?
You don't have to leave and come back. We love you just as much.
That's a good one to end on. again, Merlin Olsen Fund members, Big Blue Scholarship Fund, season ticket holders, Aggies, alumni, thank you for coming. Appreciate all your support. I'm not going to end this. Y'all don't get up. Hold on. Jeremy, you're... Oh, I'm ending this thing? You got it. Okay. You good, John? All right. I'm going to let y'all end it like we do our team meetings, all right? I'm going to say Aggies on 3, and you got to hit that desk, all right? So y'all have a great night and be safe. Aggies on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, go!